Hey everybody, Russ here with our sponsor for this special episode of The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. It's Caleb Rice with IMB, or Independent Merchant Brokers. How's it going, Caleb?
It's going fantastic, Mr. Hedge. How are you doing today?
I am so good. You know, Independent Merchant Brokers is a low-cost, no-cost credit card, debit card processing and point-of-sale system. That's a mouthful. But Caleb, give us a snapshot of what that really means.
That's exactly what we do. We provide credit and debit card processing, pretty much any payment processing, no matter your platform, whether you are like e-commerce, online, or in person, you have a storefront, contractors, all that good stuff. We process, or we provide you with anything that you need to process payments.
Ta-da! We made it. So this is a special episode of The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. I'm probably going to work a new background here too for the next one of these we do, because we're kind of going with that green theme for this. But this time, all I was able to do was work in the first little promo piece for Stephen and Donna. But we're really excited to be here today. How's it going, Scott?
Well, this is great. It's not just the experience. This is the experience plus.
There you go. That's
because
right.
This is a special edition of. So normally we're on Wednesdays, but here we are not on a Wednesday and not in the morning in the Pacific Coast. In fact, I look forward to hearing what Stephen and Donna have to say about time for them, because they're on the other side of the world.
Well, it's true. They are.
For me. Or we're on the other side of the world.
There you go. One of us is on the other side of the world. That's it. Well, you know, I have had the pleasure of getting to know Stephen and Donna. I was originally on their journey of connecting with at least one person for 366 consecutive days, the entire year last year during leap year. So it was 366. And it was wonderful getting to know them. Then they were on my podcast twice. They also, I think, were either on one of my special shows at the end of the year or my book release, something. They came on as well. They've been so willing to come on at crazy times for them. So today, I told them, we're not going to make you come on in the middle of the night. We're going to pick a good time for you. And
That's right.
So, yeah, hey, I'm going to bring them in right now and say, let's do it. All right. There they are. Ta-da!
Cool.
There you go. The other side of the world. You're there. How is the other side? Is it tomorrow already?
Yep. So we're in the future. So this is what the future looks like.
So yes. So we are Thursday here, and you are Friday there.
Friday morning. Yep.
So let's get some stock tips, and then
yeah. We've been asked for Bitcoin prices before, so.
Well, that's so great. Hey, listen, I first want to just start off with you telling Stephen, why don't you start off and tell us a little bit about the journey you had last year, and then maybe Donna can jump in and tell us what you're doing this year.
Yeah, no, awesome, Russ. And I refer to myself as a socially awkward engineer. Recovered socially awkward engineer. I used to be a very socially awkward engineer, but it's a bit of a long story. I won't go into everything, but we had this desire. 5 years ago, we had someone recommend that we read as a way of changing our life. I wanted to change, and he suggested we read, and that reading led us to want to better communicate with people. And I guess a couple of things there. First thing, I read a book by Stephen Covey called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And his habit 5, he talks about seek first to understand before being understood. And that really is something we wanted to do. And the journey was about having conversations without an agenda, just to have conversations with people, to learn to understand them. And but how the whole journey started, like I wanted to go, how do you better communicate with people? So I went to Google and typed in, how do you meet people? Pushed enter, and up the top of the list come a story about a guy who 5 years ago went around Seattle and met someone new every day and just took a photograph with them. And we thought, what a cool idea that would be. Could you imagine like meeting someone new every day? And then the mind started playing tricks. So you know how the mind goes, yeah, that'll be a great idea to meet someone every day. And then the mind goes, yeah, but you know, you don't even like talking to people. Yeah, but it'd be a great thing to do. But you know, how are you going to do that? And that literally went on for 12 months, where you know we kept on thinking about this, and I guess we developed our skills enough. We finally got to a point where we said, you know, like enough's enough. We've got to do this. And so on the 27th of November 2019, we made the decision, right, we're going to meet someone new every day for the next 366 days. And then it started. So we just took every day as it came. And it started out physically meeting people, because this was before coronavirus. So we literally just went around the town we lived in, went to places, whether it be the gym or walking, said hello to enough people that someone would want to have a conversation with us, that we then had a conversation, took a photograph with them and put it on Instagram. And we did that for about 100 days.
120, something like that. Yeah.
And then I can remember the transition clearly, because the last person we physically met was a guy busking in the mall in our city, dressed in a banana suit. And he made me, and we got up and danced. So I remember that clearly. And then the next day, we went into lockdown. So we went from meeting someone every day and then into lockdown. And so that's what led us to LinkedIn. Never really used LinkedIn before. And LinkedIn then became a way that we connected with people. You know, it wasn't planned that way. It just sort of happened. There's again a story behind that of how that happened. But we started connecting with people. And then the journey just took a completely different path. We met people all over the world. It's been quite amazing. But the end result was we did end up meeting someone every day that we'd never met before for 366 days in a row. Some nights it was like 11:30 at night before we met someone, but we met someone every day. But in total, we ended up having 786 conversations with different people, and a cricket team and a football team and an alpaca.
that is amazing, because you had days where you had what, 6, 7 people in one day.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm exhausted. I love people, and I'm exhausted just thinking about that.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it was an incredible learning experience. So, you know, everyone's unique, and everyone has a different story that brings them to the point in life that we spoke to them. And then some of the people that we met just have some incredible stories of overcoming, that we found ourselves getting off some calls and looking at each other and just going, we have nothing to complain about. Nothing after what we just heard. We just nothing we just
that's the human stories are always the most interesting.
And some of those we gone back to people and recorded podcasts as a way of just capturing the amazing stories that we've heard. There.
Donna, I was thinking
in the summary, Russ.
Donna, I was thinking, what's the most important story?
Our speaker just died.
There you go. Let there be sound. Okay, Scott, you were saying?
Oh, Donna, I was thinking, you know, as you're talking about these, the human stories are always the most interesting, and what people are capable of overcoming And is there one that if you had to choose that you would say this was the one that really impacted me the most?
Well,
no. We've actually had that question asked of us a few times, and to be honest, there's no one person that we could choose, because there have been so many with amazing stories. But as well as that, like even there may be people that don't have anything amazing or outstanding, but at the same time, we thought, every person is interesting. Everything that every person is going through and experiencing in their life is interesting, and sometimes even the simplest things we can take learnings from. So yeah, that is a tough question, but honestly, we couldn't really choose any one person.
Yeah.
I love that. Actually, I love that, because I think so many of us believe that we have like these plain vanilla lives that no one would be interested in it. But it turns out there's some fascinating stories.
Absolutely. And people have said that to us. Some people come on and they say, I've been reading all the stories and you've met some amazing people, and I really just don't have anything very interesting in my life. And we say, no, that's not true, because wherever you've been in your life is interesting, and no one else has experienced your life, and no one's done the things that you've done and met the people that you've met. And it might seem mediocre or average to you, but I'm pretty sure if you start telling us about your life and what you've done, we'd be pretty interested and enthused by, and we always are. They'll tell us something thinking that it's just not really very interesting, and we say, wow, we've never met anyone that's done that before. And then they go, oh, okay, and they just don't think about that from other people's perspective, I guess. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, this whole time I was thinking that guy that wrote "Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose" was your favorite the whole time. So, oh no. Anyway, what I find so amazing about the two of you is that you go through this journey, and it's a long year. It's an incredible year, but it's also very exhausting. And you took a little break, but it wasn't long, and you jumped right back in. With one of you, Donna, why don't you start? Just tell us what made you decide to jump back in and start a new, journey, whatever you're doing at this point.
Well, I think connecting becomes kind of addictive, but also, we did get a lot of value, and the first journey was exhausting, and Stephen's the great ideas guy. He comes up with the ideas of how we're going to do things. So I guess in view of the fact that, the first time we did it, we were determined to finish our challenge of at least one person every day for the 366 days. And yet there were days when it was just like, oh, wow, how are we going to get through this day? But we did. And then, and then Stephen just came up with the idea, because we said, we can't stop now. Like, it's just such a wonderful, amazing experience to connect with people. And we've learnt so much, about people, about cultures, about countries, and about, things like resilience and persistence and endurance and all those amazing kinds of things. So, and that's when Stephen had a big ponder and came up with the what are we going to do next, which is a lot more relaxing than the first journey.
So we're gonna leave a cliffhanger here for just a moment, Stephen, and then you're gonna go. But I just wanted to remind people, jump in and say hi. Let us know you're here. Our friend Alan Hennessy is here from Dublin, Ireland. And so he told us he was going to stay up. For him, it's what, 10:30 or 11 there, Scott? So that's
yeah. Yep.
That's early for Alan.
12:30, I think. That's late.
Okay. Oh, that's right. 12:30. So that really for Alan is kind of early. He's a night owl. So anyway, hey, Alan, great to have you here. And as you guys come in, let us know you're here. It's so great to have people be able to interact live. Mm-hmm. And so now, Stephen, the cliffhanger. So then you decided to?
Yeah, so we just thought we'd, rather than, because there's no way we'd do 366 days in a row again. So and it was driven by the desire that you just do not know the next person that you connect with, where that might lead you. And already, so what we just decided to do, we just picked 30 days, and in 30 days we'll connect with 30 people. So it doesn't have to be every day. We just, so it's a very relaxing way to do it. But already in this short period of time, we've met some amazing people. Again, everyone's interesting. It's just the people that have overcome greater odds than you and I could ever imagine just inspire us, and should inspire all of us to realize that there's so much more we can do. As an example, there's a guy called Jose Flores that we come across again on LinkedIn, who lives in Florida, who his story is, if I get this right, when he was born, he was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy. Apologise, Jose, if you hear this and I got that wrong. But the long and short of it was his muscles were atrophying, and he wasn't expected to live until he was 20, and we're speaking to him, he's in his 40s. By the time he was 15, he was in a wheelchair, and by the time he left high school, he couldn't raise his arms above his head. And then at some point in his life, he just decided, I've got two things. I've got a voice and I've got a mind. What can I do? And he goes, well, people make money off of speaking, so I'll become a motivational speaker. And that's what he does. And the thing that got us the most, like listening, talking to him, and physically seeing his limitations and what he's doing. He's personally mentored by Les Brown, which is just amazing. But the attitude of the guy is what got us the most. And when we finished the call with him, I wish I would have recorded this. His exact words to us were, don't let the guy in the wheelchair beat you. And the way I took that was from an attitude perspective. Here I am with all my limitations and all I've gone through in my life, and look at the attitude I have towards life. So don't let the guy in the wheelchair beat you. There's no reason why you can't have an attitude that leads you towards whatever success you have in your life, is the way I took it. Don't let the guy in the wheelchair beat you. I just can't get that out of my head.
Yeah. Well, that is definitely, it's amazing when people take whatever talents they have and realize that if they have the right mindset, that they can still do incredible things. Yeah. It doesn't matter. We all have our own talents and we all have our own limitations. And Scott, here is a man today that was doing a networking boot camp today. And Scott is amazing. See, you missed having him on the 366 days, but Scott, do you want to jump in for a sec?
Man, it's the stories that people have are amazing. My wife was actually doing some recording for a local radio station here. She did that for about 2 years, just going around and capturing stories from people about different events and things. And when you start listening to the thing that gets me is that it's everybody has something, right? Yeah. Everybody has something, some challenge. And a friend of mine reminded me one time, he said, if we all got in a circle and we all put our troubles in the middle, we would all leave with our own.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
Very true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
we're all equipped to take care of what we've been given.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and talk about unique stories. Wow. A total, you said last year was 700 and how many?
786.
Yeah. So that many unique stories. That is amazing. It's mind-boggling. And what I liked is every time you guys did one, you put down a lot of information. You would, give a little recap of your conversation. Mm-hmm. And did you put all that together, Donna, or did you do that, Stephen?
Yeah, that was my task. And I must say there were times when I grumbled about it when I was writing the 5th or 6th one for the day, and I'd be like, oh, don't you want to do one? But he was busy doing all the connecting and setting up all the appointments, and so we worked well together as a team. And I did enjoy doing it, really. Yeah, and I guess sometimes my biggest fear, I think, was just not doing justice to what the person had spoken to us about, because sometimes people would tell us so many things and I think, how am I going to fit it all in a post? Like, knowing that I had to condense it, but everything was so amazing, I wanted to write everything they said. So, you know, that could be quite a tricky task, but it was great. And I've just got stacks and stacks of books and notepads full of notes about people that probably no one else could read, to be honest.
Wow. Well, as long as you can read them, that's all that counts. So,
Yeah.
So tell everybody what part of Australia you guys are in.
Yeah, we're in Adelaide, South Australia, which if you look at a map of Australia is in the middle and down the bottom.
Okay. So way down there. All right.
Way down south.
Yep.
And we're having a little bit of colder weather here in Oregon at the moment. So what's the weather like in Australia right now?
Middle of it's summer there, eh?
It's supposed to be summer, and I think we've had about maybe 4 or 5 days that you'd classify as summery days here. It's been really, really mild. So, yeah, but still pleasant.
I just was curious what the weather was going to be like tomorrow. So I just thought.
Okay.
A weatherman's envy, right? Being able to look into tomorrow to know what the weather is going to be.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
They think they can predict it, but they really don't.
Well, you know, I want to tell you both, you have really been an inspiration to me. You know, I call myself an inspiration specialist and a super connector, but man, what you guys have been doing, and it just, I mean, you look like you just love what you're doing. It's so much fun. And that's just what's so incredible to me, is that you've kept up your joy and everything through the whole process. Because sometimes people would wear it down and be like, oh my goodness, okay, that's enough. Like you said, when you're writing all the notes, it's like, I think that's good. Did you had a real close call one time you told me about, where you made it just before midnight, right?
So some of the, like, how we approached it to help us, like when we started, there's 2 things that we did. We now understand how beneficial it was. The first thing was, we can only control today. So we'll do whatever we can. We'll take it one day at a time. We won't look at what happened yesterday. We won't worry about tomorrow. We'll just do what we can do. We've got to connect with someone today. And then the other mindset that we decided to adopt was, we'll do whatever we can that particular day to connect with someone, whatever we can within the realms of our skills and knowledge and names we have that point in time. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Right? As long as we can, at the end of the day, go, we're happy, we've done everything we possibly could, and then we'll just keep going on. So that made it easy.
That's great. You know, that's just good advice for everything, right? For so many, and to look at those things that we can control, and and the things that we can't control, and be satisfied with the effort that we put forward. Have we done this? Is something my mother or father would have asked me. Did you do your best?
Yes.
You know? So I do have to ask about, because those of us that are living here in the Northern Hemisphere and are living with shorter days, I'm looking at some of those pictures on the wall behind you, and I see some palm trees and some beaches. What do we have there?
Right. Everything has a story.
Yeah.
So apart from the guy that taught me how to read, one of the other things that he did for us that was very beneficial was made us realize that we've got to have some clarity around what we really want to achieve in our life. And he sent us away to do an exercise. We spent a half a day locking ourselves in a room and really going over, what do we really want to do, be, or have in our life without any distractions. So, no phone, no computer, just ourselves thinking about. And what came out of that was, one thing that's important to us is our family. Like, we have 8 kids between us. And we said, okay, what we really want in our life is an environment that our kids want to come to. So I remember growing up and, at holiday times, it's like, do I have to go to mum and dad's again? Right, well, I want the kids to go, even though they're in their 20s to 30s, I want the kids to go, this holidays, we get to go to mum and dad's again.
Mm.
So the end result of that was that place there, or that one there, it's an island off of Queensland in South Australia, so the Great Barrier Reef. It's the only island, Queensland, sorry, an island off of Queensland in the Great Barrier Reef. It's the only island in Australia that have commercial flights into it. So we can hop on a plane here at Adelaide, go to Sydney, and then fly directly into Hamilton Island. So our goal in life would be one of them is to have a house on Hamilton Island, not because we want a house on Hamilton Island, but because we want to create an environment that we can go there and say, you know, because there's reasons why we've never had kids on Christmas Day together, all of them, because of, you know, us being
a blended
family. But I can just imagine saying, you know, hey kids, going to spend Christmas at our house up in Hamilton Island. I'm happy to, you know, here's the airfares if you want to come and join us. Feel free to come. If you do, great. If you don't, we'll have a good time anyway. And then see who turns up.
Well, that's a beautiful story.
Yeah, it is. It is. You've told me before about that. And yeah, I mean, you two are just incredible, and you're loving life and living it and doing incredible things. And this whole connection journey has been outstanding. And we could talk about this all day long, but actually our time is wrapping up, believe it or not.
No.
It went so fast. But yeah, thank you. Thank you, both of you, for taking time. And I'm glad we could get this at a little better time for you. So it's not quite in the middle of the night like last time when that was like 1:30 or 2 in the morning, whatever it was. So I appreciate you both coming on. And
Russ, thanks, Scott.
Yeah, and we really appreciate that you've actually made a special time for us to come on. Thanks so much for that.
Well, you bet. I mean, I definitely, this is a lifelong friendship and connection. I don't give up on those things, and I really appreciate both of you a lot.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And we appreciate you too.
Thanks, Rob.
All right. Well, listen, don't go anywhere because I'm going to send you out to the green room, but we'll be there in just a moment. And there we go. Scott and I are going to say, woo, it was awesome.
What a great story they have.
Yeah.
Connecting and being, persevering. But now I always say, you need to contact at least 3 to 5 people of your network every day. But I'm not saying reach out every day to a new person for a full year on leap year. That's inspirational.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's beyond inspirational. And I felt really honored that they actually contacted me and I was able to be one of those people. It was a ton of fun. Awesome to get to know them, and they've been super supportive. And so, yeah, appreciate them so much. So just wanted to remind everybody, our regular show, The Experience Live, this is The Experience Plus, but Experience Live with Russ and Scott every Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And specials will pop up wherever they may pop up, and we're going to work on the graphics and all that for the next one. But yeah, every Wednesday morning, join us. We have a couple guests every morning on Wednesdays, 7 a.m. Pacific time. It's so much fun with my partner, D. Scott Smith. Did you want to say something, Scott, wrap up about your boot camp today? Because you had given me.
Well, the boot camp was great. We had a 4-day boot camp, and then just to give some people tools about their network. And the one big thing that we shared was that you already have a fabulous network. You just need to be intentional about leaning into that network and letting the folks there help you. And we've just got this graphic up here. I am speaking at the PodFest Global Summit, and we are making an official attempt. You can see the Guinness World Records logo there. We're making an official attempt to break the current Guinness World Record for the largest attendance at a virtual podcasting conference in 1 week. And so those of you who would like to attend that, there's a lot of great speakers there, a lot of opportunity for learning. And if you reach out to me, Scott at dscottsmith.com, I will send you information about a discounted ticket. It's less than $50.
All right. That's so awesome. Want to make sure we got that in. And so, yeah, I think that wraps things up for today. Thank you so much. This is our first special episode, the first Experience Plus. And we'll get that plus in there too. Yeah, we appreciate all of you. Thanks so much. Have an awesome day or what's left of it. If you're Stephen and Donna, you're just getting going on tomorrow. So there you go. And we will see you next Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on The Experience. Bye-bye.
Cheers.